already know summertime is the worst time to try to smell good. You're sweaty, you're stinky, it's sweltering and blistering hot, and then on top of it, you don't feel clean. Absolutely not happening in my house. I'm here to give you some of my Southern certified summer hygiene tips. You can survive a Southern states summer and still get compliments like I do. I think you have something to share with the class, so here I am doing exactly that. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Everybody knows the hygiene always starts in the shower, because if you're funky, the first thing you need to do is get up in that shower or that tub. My biggest first tip is using some sort of exfoliating net. Now, some people like to use exfoliating gloves, but I personally like using an exfoliating net just because it's so long, and as somebody who loves to clean that back, because I be TMI, but that's where I personally sweat the most, my back and behind my knees, I need to be able to floss back and forth on my back to make sure I get all that stickiness and just not feeling good, moisture, sweat, all that off that area. I've been using these for at least 2 to 3 years now, and I have not looked back. And when I tell you they make the biggest difference in the shower, trust, I would not steer you wrong. I will have the pack that I got from Amazon linked down below if you're interested in getting it as well, if you want just like a quick little link and want to support this channel with no extra cost to you, so I can keep making videos like this. When it comes to being in the shower, of course you're gonna wash your body, but when it comes to the summertime specifically, you really should be focusing on those bacteria breeding grounds, is what I call them. Crevices, creases, and just anything like that, specifically underarms, behind the knees, in between the toes, just different hot spots for things that can accumulate sweat, or creases and crevices are always going to be that main one. So that butt, make sure you're washing that butt, please. Really focusing on those in the shower 2 and 3 times should really help eliminate odors. I feel like this is like a given, but at the same time, some people forget that the foundation should be the best part of your routine. If your foundation isn't good, the rest of it is not going to matter. So being able to have a good in-shower routine is going to be the best thing for you. When it comes to me personally, I love using the Naturium blue bottle just because this is the one that focuses on neutralizing body odor. I personally always try to get some sort of body wash that neutralizes body odor, just because it's like, girl, why wouldn't we be doing that? But also, if you're not interested in spending $15.99 on a soap, which is like 100% normal, you can definitely just get some antibacterial soap, and it's literally in the name, antibacterial. As we talked, bacteria causes odor. They have ones with dial, Dove has some, whatever you prefer is honestly what works for you. As somebody who used to be not a hygiene warrior, because like I'm never gonna clock somebody if their simple hygiene routine works for them, but if their 15-step hygiene routine works for them, I'm never gonna like bombard somebody about that. But as somebody who used to do so many different washes in the shower, it can be so easy to get caught up in adding stuff to the routine. But honestly, as I've gotten older, the more simple the routine, the better. Like now, these days, I really will just use my Naturium soap and then like a scented body wash and call it a day. And honestly, one of those is not needed. I mean, I really could just use one, because when you make things too complicated, this goes for anything ever in life. When you make things too complicated and just have too many steps and not easy to obtain / complete, it makes it so much harder to do it. If you know you're not really used to having a crazy hygiene routine, usually do the one soap, the one lotion, why would you go and get 10 new products to use all in the shower every single day when you don't even really like to do the 1-2 steps that you do already? We need to be for real. We need to start thinking outside the box. Right now, like I said, the Naturium is honestly my favorite deodorizing body wash, like I said, because it neutralizes the body odor and it's a deep cleanser. And then the one I've been using a lot is the Sol de Janeiro 68 renewing body wash. I really just like this because it smells good and it's a very spring and summer scent for me personally. So I had to take a shower and pick out the 2, and I only had to use one. I would definitely just use this one more because it does more for me personally. Moving on to the post-shower routine, this is when things get a little bit more fun. I would say my first absolute tip for this section is when you get out the shower, I know we're always so focused on drying our bodies and whatnot. I would say like after you dry your body and it's like 90% dry / damp, I would spray whatever fragrance you're wearing that day if you already have it picked out within your skin. I've noticed that when I spray my perfume on myself or body spray for the day right after I get out the shower, it lasts so much longer. And I don't know the exact science behind it. I have been loving the Sol de Janeiro 68 body spray. A lot of people say this does not last. I think it's because people do not use it right, because when I spray this on myself, it literally lasts days. Between this one and then Sol de Janeiro 71, those are my 2 favorites. The 71 is my favorite. This is my second favorite. Between 71 and 68, they literally last until I wash my clothes or wash my body again. Usually after I spray my body and let myself air dry a little bit, because I personally love to air dry when I get out the shower for the most part, especially for down there. Wherever moisture is sitting, bacteria is going to breed there, and it's normal and it's fine. There's nothing we we can really do about that. Usually after I shower in the morning or at night, I like to like brush my teeth while I air dry and do my skincare and whatever, but all personal preference. That's just what I do. So like when I get out the shower, I'll spray my body with the perfume, like I'll brush my teeth and whatever, kind of do whatever I need to do for that morning slash night whenever I take the shower, and then I'll put on lotion, and then I'll put on more perfume. Okay, y'all know I always praise and scream from the rooftops, exfoliate, shave, exfoliate, perfume, lotion, perfume. That's something I'm gonna ride and die by as long as I am able, because I am sticking to it. I literally cannot find a reason why it is bad. Try it for like a week and let me know how many compliments you get. The whole how many times a day should somebody shower conversation is a little bit redundant, because everybody's bodies are adjusted to their routines and what works for them. It's coming from somebody who is chronically in hot spaces and temperatures and climates. I can get away with one shower a day and still get compliments on how good I smell, just because my body is accustomed to that. So if you're like, I don't know how often I should shower, I don't know how often I should shower, you have to do what works for you. But if you're noticing you're still having some issues, I always say for the sweaty girls, the girls who are a little bit more prone to sweat, I would aim to shower twice a day, just because sweat does build up and bacteria sitting and festering is not good for anybody, especially if you want to get that off your body. It can clog your pores and just cause a lot of issues. And if you're watching this, you probably want to smell good, and we all know sweat and bacteria sitting and festering is not good if you want to smell good. Shower with caution if you're not used to showering more than once a day, because it could be a little bit more drying. Definitely have your best moisturizing lotions and body creams on deck. Oh my god, we're gonna talk about it. The cancer deodorants. I don't know where the cancer deodorant discourse started, but please do not get up in my phone complaining that you smell bad because you switched to a natural deodorant after you've been using the antiperspirant deodorants for 16 years. Your body is used to a certain thing, and when you switch it up, it panics. So if you're used to using antiperspirant deodorant, like most people, like I am, I use the Dove Advanced Care. I also love the Secret deodorant. Anything with antiperspirant, I'm going to buy. If you reside in America like I do, I don't want to use this because of cancer. I don't want to use this because of chemicals. Every week it's a recall of the food we're eating. If I'm gonna die, I might as well die smelling good. And if your body is accustomed and used to natural deodorant, I love that for you. You definitely are better than the rest of us. But if you have been using the same antiperspirant formula for 10 years and you're like, oh, I'm gonna switch to natural deodorant, I can't help you. I can't. Literally, when people are like, oh, you have to allow your skin to adjust to a new skincare routine, you have to let your body adjust to a new hygiene routine. And the summertime is not the time to be doing that. I want to go ahead and share some of my favorite lotions as of right now, because I do have 3 that have been in rotation. The main one that I've been using recently, you can see how much I've used. This is the Kiehl's Cream de Corpse body lotion. I love this stuff so bad. This stuff is really slick, but not greasy, if those two things can coexist. I love this lotion. I think it's fantastic, and it has like the slightest shea smell, like shea butter smell, and I really like this for the summertime just because it's not heavy whatsoever and it dries down very well, but I still get the moisture that my skin craves and needs very frequently without feeling too sticky or slimy. And when I sweat, it doesn't feel like my lotion's literally oozing out of my pores. I also really like the La Roche-Posay Triple Repair. That's like a nighttime lotion. I don't think I like to put that too much on my body in the summertime because it is a little bit thicker. Unless you have super dry skin, I would use that sparingly just because it is so thick. And I do notice that my body is a little bit more slick when it gets warm with that one. The EOS 24-Hour Moisture Strawberry Dream Lotion. This literally smells like a strawberry cake. I want a perfume to match with this so well. The only reason I don't use this one as much as my other one is because I don't have a perfume to match it, because I'm usually like a vanilla musk girl or like a caramelized vanilla girl. So if you have any recommendations, definitely let me know. And of course, I have the Sol de Janeiro 68 body lotion. I personally love this just because it matches my body lotion and body wash, and it just smells very fresh. It's like sweet but still florally. Just some miscellaneous post-shower tips for you. This will never ever leave my bathroom. This is the Ordinary Glycolic Acid 7% toning solution. I like to use this personally on my hot spots, such as my underarms, back of the knees, behind the ears, on the neck, and sometimes even on the feet, to really exfoliate those areas and get that odor causing bacteria off of my skin. This 2 or 3 times a week, gonna do it every single time. This does make you a little bit more prone to sunburn, so just make sure you're wearing your SPF. Nothing crazy, like we know that already. I know it's like a running joke for me to joke about this every now and then, but I don't care how old that piercing is. We can smell your septum from across the club. Soak and clean that jewelry if you are able. please, because it do be smelling cheesy. I be smelling y'all. Stop smelling cheesy on my watch. Also, this is so redundant, and I feel like everybody else has said this 10,000 times. You need to be drinking your water. There have been studies that show how much water can impact the intensity of your smell of sweat. So if your sweat smells crazy, either you're just very unlucky in the gene pool, and that's something you have to figure out, or you're not drinking enough water. If you find yourself smelling a little bit crazier in the summer, it's because our bodies get so much more dehydrated due to the intensity of the sun. First, we're gonna be dehydrated. We're in the sun, it's hot, our body is sweating out all the things in our body that we can hold. So why wouldn't you smell crazy? Yes, understood, but that's why you have to stay hydrated. I always have to include oral care in these videos just because you kind of never know if there's anything you could do better. So I'm going to showcase my current routine, what I do for my mouth, because I don't play about my mouth. Am I the biggest fan of going to the dentist and getting my checkups every couple months? No. So am I going to do what I can to make sure my checkups go smoothly when it comes up? Yes. Does that mean this routine might be a little bit too much? Maybe. If you're not already doing some sort of mouthwash or rinse, go pick up some sort of mouth rinse to some capacity. I personally have started oil pulling. If you don't know what oil pulling is, it's basically just swishing oil in your mouth because it's used in different forms of medicine to increase the freshness of one's breath. Oil pulling has a bunch of other benefits. I don't know all the science behind it, but that's what I have read and seen from professionals. Heavy on professionals, because just because somebody on TikTok says it does not mean it's correct, okay? If swishing around oil in your mouth is really not your jam, you know this is my tried and true. I love TheraBreath. This is my Shayla. The TheraBreath Healthy Gums Oral Rinse. This helps fight gingivitis for 24 hours, and it helps reduce plaque that leads to gum disease. Plaque is a buildup of bacteria. We all know bacteria leads to smelling crazy. When you see anti-plaque, you should get that. If you see antibacteria on the bottle, you should get that. I know everybody wants good, fresh smelling breath, but you cannot get good, fresh smelling breath if you have odor causing bacteria in that mouth. So when you're looking for mouthwashes, you should definitely look for antibacteria or something to attack bacteria and plaque first and freshens breath after, which is why I like TheraBreath. I also really like it because it doesn't have alcohol, and my mouth is very sensitive, like 90% of the time. This has really been my girl for years now. I also really like the light blue bottle of this, but this is usually the one that I like to use the most because it's made for healthy gums, and my dentist loves that I use this. So I'm pretty sure everybody has a tongue brush at this point, but if you don't already, I 150% advise you to get some sort of tongue brush. Even better if you can get a metal one. I had been saying I need to get a metal tongue brush for literal eons, and I finally got one, and I can't believe I ever use anything other than that. And actually feel and see the scraping of the gunk on that tongue on it, and you can see it go bye-bye. My type of care, you know. I also really like the metal one because you can disinfect it a lot easier than plastic, because plastic be melting. Yeah, and it's a lot better for the environment for you to get a metal one. So that's always fun, fresh, and amazing. I personally have a sensitive mouth, and I'm allergic to certain agents in certain toothpaste. So I'm not gonna say which ones I use because it doesn't really matter. Just know antibacterial, anti-plaque are always gonna be the best toothpaste qualities to have, because everybody wants a white smile, but if it stinks because your plaque is down to the roots of your mouth, who cares? Who cares? I know everybody makes jokes about men's toothbrushes looking crazy because the amount of force they put on their toothbrush when they're brushing their teeth, and that is a problem. This is just something I want to broadcast. Please stop putting so much pressure on your teeth when you are brushing. I know you want to feel squeaky clean, but honestly you're doing more harm than good by vigorously scraping your teeth with a toothbrush. I personally have a electric toothbrush that tells me when the pressure is too much on my teeth, and you'd be surprised at how gentle you need to brush your teeth because it's so easy to just you know, it can be avoided, and not everybody wants to invest in an electric toothbrush, which I respect. I respect that. I hear that. Kind of inevitable. Like, I think we all should invest in electric toothbrushes when we have the chance. I'm not a dentist though, so what do I know? I'm just telling you what my dentist told me. Finally, everybody's favorite section. Let's talk about down there care. So my personal tips, let's start with number 1. Put them tight clothes down. We know bacteria causes odor. We know bacteria breeds in hot spots and crevices. Why would your poonchy lip. Be excused from that growth. We're in an age where people can wear whatever the hell they want, right? And I love that. Keep wearing whatever you want. But you have to remember, you need to let the poonchy breathe. You need to let the balls breathe. Please, you need to let down there breathe. If you're wearing super form-fitting clothing and super tight drawers and super tight shorts all the time, it's prone to smell crazy because bacteria grows in them crevices. Like, come on. So if you're gonna be doing that, either wear looser clothes or you can always sleep in super breathable underwear at night, or at least wear breathable underwear throughout the day, such as 100% cotton drawers. But if you want to get even more into it, sleep with no drawers. Would they be saying I ain't got no panties on? Like, that's how I feel when I go to sleep at night, because I need to let it breathe, let it air out. And then also, going on top of this, if you do notice that you need a little bit of extra help in terms of down there odor, I always want to say down there is a self-cleaning machine, but we do need to specify what actually is doing the cleaning. When we're talking about like feminine washes and down there wash and things like that, you can clean the outside. The outside does not clean itself. Think of everything that's inside of you cleans itself, right? Because like your body is a pyramid. It is working very efficiently over time. But on the outside, it has nothing to do that, because baby, this is just skin, crevices, and vibes. Like, it doesn't have the ability to do that. So I definitely would focus on cleaning the outside, lip, all that. I almost said Volvo. Edward Cullen is always on my mind. Me personally, I am a honey pot warrior just because it is so gentle. I personally like the sensitive one. It's the best one in my opinion. Air it out first, and if you're still having problems, I would introduce some sort of soap. Even though you really don't need soap to clean it, you really could just use water. Some people really just want that extra security and extra like push for when it comes to down there cleaning, which I do not blame you for. Everybody's personal preference on how they clean themselves is going to be different from the next. When you're drinking your water, to make sure your sweat doesn't smell crazy and you kind of help with the smell of that, you definitely should always remember drinking water for down there also really matters, because everywhere gets hydrated when you drink water, but just know you're knocking two birds out with one stone. You should be drinking a lot of water in the summertime, or as much as you can anyway. You're helping not only your body and the sweat that it's producing, but down there and the bacteria it's producing. And then honestly, two things that I find super optional but definitely do help in my opinion. Taking some probiotics are also just really nice. I personally love the honey pot probiotics if you can find them. I personally really love the daily probiotic and the urinary tract probiotic because, oh my goodness, is it sensitive. I'm telling you, I'm just a super sensitive person, so I really have to stay on top of the hygiene down there, because literally the slightest thing can throw me off and just not end well if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Can't find that. I also really like the Cheeky Bonsai daily probiotic. Those are my personal favorites. I don't have them on me because I didn't want to go downstairs to get them out my kitchen, but I do have them. I have used them and I will ride and die by them as long as I am able to. And then also, if you're really just having a bad time, like you're at the amusement park, maybe you're at Universal, you are at the beach, you are at Carowinds, and you're like, oh my gosh, I am so funky, you should carry some baby wipes or feminine wipes. I usually keep a pack of honey pot wipes in my car and like in my bag, especially those amusement park days, because girl, the up and down and sitting and the dehydration and sweating and sitting in the sun, like it's a lot. I say both because not everybody wants to get honey pot wipes, and honestly baby wipes work just as fine. I definitely would just recommend that you get the sensitive, non-scented baby wipes or hygiene feminine wipes that you can, and you dispose of them that are appropriate, because you don't want to tear up anybody's plumbing if you do not have to. So dispose of them with caution and as they should be disposed, and you should be good for the day. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know I absolutely did. I do kind of miss these videos, so if you guys have any questions for me, definitely let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them for you to the fullest of my capabilities, because sometimes if I don't know the answer, I'm gonna say no. Okay, that's sometimes the best thing we can do. If you guys like this video, you guys will definitely like this other one on the screen that I picked out, because I know you really well. I know your taste. We're getting familiar. If you are new, please do not hesitate to subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna put a playlist of other videos like this one just in case you want to see a little bit more before you make that very free commitment of subscribing. You have an amazing morning, evening, or night wherever you're on the world, and I cannot wait to see you on the next one. Stay fresh, enjoy your shower routine, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye.